You build the prison with a thought. A single imagined catastrophe, replayed like a broken reel, becomes a thunderstorm that drowns your days. Anxiety is not an enemy outside. It's the architect inside your skull. It whispers possibilities until you believe every one of them is inevitable. Stop pretending this is small. Anxiety steals your time, your work, your sleep, your voice. It eats the future while pretending to protect it. You think you're preparing. You're staining your life with fear. Seneca said, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality." He spoke to men who stood at the edges of empire, and to you, scrolling in the dark at 2 a.m., palms sweating over a keyboard. The form is different. The effect is the same. Fear manufactures evidence. You feed it with attention, and it grows teeth. This ends now. Not because the world changes, but because you will. Stoicism is not escapism. It is the key to the cell you've been carrying. It teaches you to separate what you control from what you don't, to confront the imagination with reason, to reduce the thunder to a manageable storm. Finally, stop rehearsing disaster. Build the inner citadel. Learn to make your mind a fortress, not a trap. He woke up again at 3:17 a.m., the same hour, the same silent panic, his heart thundering like he was being hunted. But there was nothing in the room except his thoughts. Deadlines, regrets, what-ifs. He stared at the ceiling, paralyzed by ghosts that only existed in his mind. He was a man who looked composed in daylight. At work, he spoke calmly. In conversations, he smiled, nodded, performed control. But the nights exposed him. That when the mask cracked and the truth poured through, he was terrified of losing what he couldn't control. He tried everything: breathing apps, self-help affirmations, motivational noise. But the silence always returned, heavier. Because none of it attacked the root. The problem wasn't the world. It was his perception of it. One morning, he came across a line by Marcus Aurelius. "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Something in him stopped fighting and started watching. He began to see the pattern. His anxiety was a performance, fueled by attention. That night, when the panic came, he didn't resist. He simply observed. He asked, "What if this feeling is just a visitor?" The heartbeat slowed. The mind quieted. For the first time in years, he slept. Anxiety didn't vanish that night, but its authority broke. He finally understood. Calm isn't found in control. It's found in surrendering to what's real. Anxiety begins in the imagination. The Stoics understood this centuries before psychology gave it a name. Seneca wrote, "We suffer more in imagination than in reality. The anxious mind is an empire of ghosts, building entire wars out of shadows, replaying possibilities that never happen." To the Stoic, this was madness. To fear what hasn't happened is to die before you die. Marcus Aurelius, an emperor surrounded by uncertainty, faced betrayal, plague, and war. Yet he wrote nightly to himself not to complain, but to command. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself but to your judgment of it. He didn't ask the world to change. He demanded that his perception submit to reason. That is the first truth of Stoicism. You cannot control the storm, only your response to it. Anxiety feeds on illusion. It convinces you that control is safety, that if you think hard enough you can prevent chaos. But control is a mirage. The Stoic destroys the illusion. He sorts the world into two categories: what I can control, what I cannot. His thoughts, actions, choices, his domain. Everything else, not his problem. Epictetus taught this as the foundation of freedom. No man is free who is not master of himself. When you stop trying to manage what isn't yours, anxiety loses its leverage. It has nothing left to threaten. The imagined future collapses under the weight of clarity. The Stoic doesn't chase calm. He manufactures it. Through discipline, through repetition, through the relentless practice of perception. He trains his mind like a soldier sharpens his sword, not to escape the fight, but to stand unbroken in it. The anxious man asks, "What if I fail?" The Stoic replies, "Then I'll learn." The anxious man fears uncertainty. The Stoic expects it. To live as a Stoic is to live as a strategist of the mind, cutting through noise, diffusing panic with logic, mastering the art of non-reaction. This is not emotionless living. It's emotional dominance. The Stoic feels fear, but doesn't kneel to it. He uses it as proof that he's alive, a reminder that every test is a chance to strengthen his inner citadel. Anxiety thrives in chaos. Stoicism thrives in control. And when one learns to separate the two, the war ends. Stop treating anxiety like a mystery. It's not mystical, it's mechanical. The Stoics approached fear like soldiers, with discipline, not emotion. You don't wish your way out of anxiety. You train your way out. Here are 5 field-tested Stoic tactics for mastering the battlefield within. 1. Control your domain, ruthlessly. Stop trying to control everything. That's how you lose everything. Write down 2 columns, within my control and beyond my control. Your energy belongs only in the first. Thoughts, words, actions, that's your kingdom. Everything else is wind. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Live by this. Guard your domain like a fortress. The moment you invade what isn't yours, other people's opinions, outcomes, the future, anxiety reclaims the throne. 2. Expect chaos daily. The Stoics practice premeditatio malorum, the premeditation of evil. Every morning they imagined the worst: betrayal, loss, insult, failure. Not to suffer twice, but to suffer once, in advance. When life hit, they were ready. The anxious man is ambushed by reality. The Stoic greets it at the gate. Train your mind to say, "Of course this happened." Then move. 3. Reframe fear as fuel. Fear is information, raw energy waiting for direction. Seneca said, "Difficulties strengthen the mind as labor strengthens the body." Every anxious thought is a signal that you care about something. Instead of running from it, investigate it. Ask, what action can I take right now? Convert fear into forward motion. The Stoic doesn't drown in emotion, he redirects it. 4. Cut comfort. Build callous. Comfort breeds fragility. Anxiety thrives in weak soil. Choose voluntary discomfort. Cold showers, fasting, early rising, silence. These are not punishments. They're rehearsals for reality. Epictetus taught his students to endure and renounce. When you train to endure what others avoid, life stops scaring you. You build mental calluses, invisible armor against chaos. 5. Command the mind with action. Overthinking is the luxury of the undisciplined. When anxiety spirals, move, clean the room, lift the weight, make the call. The Stoics believed motion defeats madness. Marcus Aurelius again. Waste no more time arguing what a good man should be. Be one. Stop theorizing your peace. Practice it. Action is the antidote to anxiety. Anxiety will whisper that you're losing control. Good. That means you're finally giving it up. Because mastery isn't about eliminating fear. It's about becoming indifferent to it. You don't fight for calm. You become calm. You don't chase control. You embody it. When the world shakes, the Stoic doesn't pray for safety. He adjusts his stance and holds. Anxiety will not disappear. It will wait, at dawn, in traffic, in silence. But you will not face it as the same person. You've seen how the mind creates its own torment, and how Stoicism cuts through the illusion. You've learned to see anxiety for what it is, not a prophecy but a projection, a shadow cast by your imagination. It has no power except the power you surrender to it, so take it back. When the world shakes, breathe. When the voice returns, the one that says you're not ready, not enough, not safe, don't argue with it, observe it, then act anyway. That's Stoicism. Stillness without surrender, motion without fear. Marcus Aurelius called it the inner citadel, a fortress built in the mind, impenetrable to insult, failure, or uncertainty. Every moment of discipline strengthens its walls. Every act of courage lays another stone. You don't overcome anxiety by waiting for peace. You create it through battle, through presence, through mastery. So the next time your mind turns against you, remember, you've already held the key. You've always been free. If this message hit something in you, share it. Someone else is still fighting that invisible war tonight. And if you're building your own inner citadel, subscribe, because this is where strength is forged. Now go. Stop rehearsing disaster. Stand still and let the world feel your calm.